This particular tree is an elm tree. What we're looking at is how poorly shaped, has no canopy. If you look at it, it's kind of been damaged either by storm. It's got some tears and cuts in the limbs. This one, the committee has decided we would like to go ahead and replace because of its unevenness and the opportunity of it to regrow and shape into a beautifully canopy tree. Like you see on either side of myself, this way or this way, either one, you can see how they are fuller, larger, definitely greener. Again, looking at overall general health of the trees across the community. One of the other things that was brought up is if you look straight onto this tree, if you will, straight on meaning straight ahead, trunk is nice up, straight up and down. This particular tree here was defoliated, but it's an oak tree. So in the winter time back in January, February, it was mostly defoliated. Every oak tree does that. And of course, now that we're through the cold snaps and all those things, the tree is much healthier, doing well, green, growing, producing new growth, which is what we see here on the tips. So those are all the things that we look at when we're trying to evaluate a tree. This particular one was identified as having some gold wasps. Sometimes you can treat it if it's caught on early enough. This particular one seems to be flourishing, so the overall consensus is leave it for now, evaluate it later, and if need be, we can remove it at that point. Trees are like wood. It's hard to find a 2x4 that's straight at Home Depot, right? Because they're all pulled and produced out of trees. So a tree isn't always going to grow completely straight. It could have been how it was planted. It could have been uprooted during a storm. Lots of different reasons, but this is one particular one that's been brought up. Again, not focusing on any address, but this tree, you can see the root goes nowhere. The branches are moving, totally normal, but this is rooted, it's growing the way it needs to. But again, if you come to this front approach view and you look forwards versus the one I pointed out a minute ago, which is literally next door, it has a very slight tilt. But if you follow the base of the trunk, you can see the angle. And then as you go up where my hand is, you can see that the tree has already corrected itself. So although the trunk has a lean, as it comes up into this portion of the tree, it has corrected itself. So it could have been previous storm damage, it could have been planted a little high, anything could have happened, but this tree is so large and heavy that it can't be staked or corrected. It's already corrected itself in the canopy, not an issue. What we would consider a tree that's leaning in danger of falling is if we see surface roots, if we see a main leader above ground and it's a risk of potentially falling over or injuring, then we always make the recommendation to remove. In this application, it's severely rooted in. It probably is going to go through a hurricane unless it's a really strong hurricane without any further incident.